Hello, thank you to everybody who is watching. I am playing Methods, the detective competition. Um, I was able to get a copy from the developer. It's a computer game available on Steam. Um, I played a little bit of it yesterday, and one thing about being a console gamer, a lot of times um, you don't have to worry about saving or that much because most of the games nowadays automatically save. But the same is not necessarily true for computer games and isn't particularly true for this computer game. So, one of the things that I am going to have to do is go back through is go back through um, go back through the game. Um, Please pardon me for a second. I want to make sure that the audio is working properly. Just because I've actually had a little bit of trouble competing with my mic, competing with the actual audio available on the from the computer. So just give me a moment. I just want to make sure that this is working correctly. Um, Let me see. There might be a bit of an echo for a second. Um, I just want to make sure that the audio is not competing too much. So I might lower the sound once again. I actually am a fan of the music available in this game. I think they did um, a very good job, whoever worked on the music. And when I do a more detailed review, I might actually look that up because whoever did the composition, I think it's really nice. And having to lower the the volume on the music on the stream that on the game that doesn't actually have dialogue sort of didn't work for me because I enjoyed the music and there's no dialogue. So want some at least a little bit of ambient noise in the background. So, for those of you who may have viewed my stream yesterday, one of the things that I did not, um, I wasn't necessarily very intuitive about the beginning. Um, as far as like, I didn't make um, the right choices, and there's a limited number of wrong choices you can make before you have to restart. So I kind of feel getting a fresh start would be a good thing for this particular game. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Kind of want to start off with making better choices in the beginning. So again, this is a game where you're going to have to do a lot of reading. I personally, um, I personally like reading it a little bit faster, just because having it go slow is um, having it slowed down is a bit much. Um, and I'll just let the text go for itself. Um, I do find it funny that the artwork is interesting. It's not. I tried to reach out to people who had had games that had some interesting artwork. I do find it funny that they little tongue-in-cheek humor referring to that particular detective as handsome and um, he looks like that. um, but I think the other characters, even though the artwork is a little bit different, I feel that um, the the aesthetics are bearable. So, and according to my choices, the last time I did this playthrough, I didn't spend that much time with this particular character, this particular detective anyway. So, I don't know if it'll be the same once I do this again. Actually, I do think the dialogue is still a little bit fast, so I might slow it down. Or maybe it's not so much the text, but the auto time is kind of fast. So I'm gonna get it, have the auto time be a medium, and actually speed up the text. Actually, let's make the text immediate and maybe slow down a little bit there. Okay, maybe now that's a little bit long. I do I do like the fact that they adjust the settings because not everybody reads at the same pace, but it is kind of weird trying to find a happy medium for myself. So, um, I was actually surprised that this character was so straightforward right off the bat in the beginning. Um, in that respect, it's kind of noirish in that sense. In the characters, in that the characters are what you see is what you get. They straightforwardly tell you what the how the characters are. Detective Hackett and Mr. Precision. I do have to say, aside from how they have the text speed, I think I actually like their initial pacing of um, how fast the auto time goes. I think it should be maybe faster text speed and faster auto time. I guess I didn't think of myself as that fast of a reader. So generally, this is a game about solving crimes. They have, um, as the title suggests, it's a detective competition, and they've all gathered at this hotel and are sort of locked inside to find out um, what exactly is supposed to happen. And they have these detectives. Now I'm starting off as the brute detective who's supposed to, um, I don't know, hit first, ask questions later, as his hashtag suggests. This guy is Mr. Precision, um, Detective Coles. Quite rude to um, our guy right off the bat. Um, as his name, yeah, exactly. As his name suggests, he's supposed to be a brute guy and doesn't necessarily know. He's kind of the brutish guy and doesn't have a doesn't think with his head. Um, which I would have liked to have at the very least started off with a character who's known for his intelligence. But it is some this is something different that I haven't really seen before, so even though I am playing this for the second time, I am quite interested in maybe some of the intricacies I might have missed the first go around. So, the case file is Mr. and Mrs. Turnip were checked into the Drop Dead Inn at 6:26 a.m. Miss Turnip, I guess not Mrs. Turnip, uh, left the hotel to eat breakfast, as she claimed. She left the hotel as she claimed. Okay. Mr. Turnip was found dead at 7:38 a.m. by the cleaner. The door was locked from the inside when the crime scene was discovered. You don't have access to the autopsy report. So, most of the cases that I've found so far, you don't have access to the autopsy report. So, there's some type of clue on the body to sort of indicate what, excuse me, what they died from. So, I'm sorry, just replugging something in. Um, and then the big thing, which is how I messed up in the on the first try, the big thing is to remember that there's always a special bonus question at the end of solving the case. Um, and not to miss that. Um, like even if you think like the sort of situation the question is sort of answered by their conclusion, you have to have a specific statement made about what is what the answer to that special bonus question is in order to get full marks for the case. So and this is supposed to be the big thing, if you solve it within a certain amount of time, you end up, if you solve it under 1 minute, um, that makes you part of the top three and part of the people that go to the top floor. And that's supposed to be a big deal. Now, I had the right conclusions the first time, but I messed up in that I didn't answer the bonus question. And I guess I just kept, I don't know, just wanted to quickly get through it. I'm not really sure what I was thinking at the moment, but um, if you do happen to get this game and play this game, make sure to answer the bonus question um, after making your conclusion. Okay, so obviously I sort of know what's going on, so it's not necessarily a mystery to me. Um, I can't. I think this is an area where you don't necessarily really have to check. Um, there's not much information gathered from checking out that particular spot. But, yeah. So, looks like the smoke alarm was damaged. So that's the bathroom. Let's check out this jacket. Baseball tickets. And that's the wine. So I've checked out the smoke alarm, I've checked out the window, I've checked out the wine, I've checked out the body, I've checked out the coat, and I guess I haven't done the coat rack. Is this the coat rack? Yes. So the coat rack is tipped over. Looks like we found all the evidence. Now let's get to solving this. Yes. So, what are you thinking, Mouse? Hackfish. Because he was smoking in bed underneath that jacket. door had been locked with the when the crime was discovered. Locked with the key card. Maybe the bolt was locked from the outside. You're thinking something different of a hotel lock. Wait a second. I think I figured out how the was locked from the outside, which means I've solved the case. We've solved the case together. Yeah, sure. Okay. Was there a strange reason why the room was locked? Yeah, it's a locked room. It's not a locked room murder. It is a accident. I mean, that kind of infers a lot. Like, she's supposed to have hung up his coat and didn't pay attention to his body. And she was drunk in the morning? Like, she's going out to breakfast drunk, according to this. Yes. And this is the critical part that I was talking about. You want to make sure that, when it gets to this part, you make sure that you don't submit it. There's something else. Because we're supposed to do, as they said at the beginning, we need to identify the irrelevant evidence. Thank you for the follow. Joe ACD 96. Thank you for following. Okay. Okay, so we're swapping partners. So it looks like even if I do the first stage perfectly, I end up, I still end up in the same place. So, um, this one actually went by faster than, my first playthrough. Even though there were some long pauses and stuff like that. So I still end up in the same place. This wasn't too stupid. He realized you weren't doing work. Fortunately, my headset keeps on falling off the charger. Okay, Detective Joyce. George Joyce. Oh, I didn't notice that the first time. It actually even gives a silhouette of what the detectives are supposed to look like. Pardon me if you're hearing the train going by. Let's see. I talked to this guy last time. Well, I think it still makes sense to talk to him just because these two I've already spoken to before. So I'm still gonna make the same decision that I made last time. Huh. Maybe. Hmm. So, Mr. Ant was found dead in his manor at 6:30 a.m. Only one suspect was arrested, Mr. Disco. However, Mr. Disco claims it must be a suicide since there was no way for him to enter the locked room where Mr. Ant was found. Ugh, it popped out again. Who cares? Um, you do not have access to the autopsy report, as I said before. Um, they haven't, or at least as far as I played, they never gave access to the autopsy report. So, um, the door was locked with a complex mechanism that can only be opened from the inside of the room. How did Mr. Ant know Mr. Disco? Is the special bonus question of the night. or day, wherever you may be. So, hey guys. So, I'm checking out this Methods, the detective competition, the game that I was able to get yesterday. Um, right now I'm playing as Detective Hackett. Um, he's supposed to be like a brute force kind of guy. Um, stereotype in the as far as the detective archetypes go. Um, thinks with hence hashtag thinks with his fists. Thinks with fists. Um, so he's not supposed to be the thinker type. Um, and he just got paired up with hashtag precision. Um, we're about to see how that's gonna work out. Um, so I know you guys were in a different stream. So the big thing about this game is the m- the more correct guesses you have, like immediate correct guesses, the less time that's supposed to have been elapsed while playing the game. Um, or at least it was the case later on. I think this these scenarios are sort of predetermined as far as how the plot is going to progress, or at least for now it is. Um, and the amount of time these particular characters are just going to take, because once I got later in the game, it was taking significantly less time. Um, because in this game, if you the detectives are supposed to be smart enough to be able to solve the crime in under 1 minute. Only 1 minute is supposed to have elapsed in the game um, after viewing the scene. You can't force it. You have to look at all the clues before you can come to a conclusion. Um, and so that's why it's kind of like the elapsed time in the game versus elapsed time outside of the game as we're playing it, because we have to view all the evidence, and it takes more than 1 minute to view all the evidence. There's dialogue to be seen. um, and then we have the 3 minute mark is supposed to be pretty good, and then the 5 minute mark, you have a maximum of 5 minutes you're supposed to take to solve the crime, or you get kicked out, or at least that's what the competition says as far as the rules. I'm spending more than 5 minutes at each of these scenes, so again, it's about the actual game time is what they're saying is elapsed versus our real time and how much time has elapsed. Um, yeah. So, as we can see, this character is not as smart as he pretends to be. He was making fun of Detective Hackett at the beginning of the competition, um, especially for his name, thinks with fists. So, um, obviously, his lazy way of thinking about how this death occurred It's not actual real bodies. Haven't encountered a real body yet. It's a competition where they have sock puppets basically all over the place, and then they color them and um, sort of indicate how they die around there. So as I said, I can't, as you can see, I'm not making the guesses on my own. hmm So we have the glass here, we have body here, um, checking out the window. And so we have the mirror, and then we look at the wall, and we see where there's supposed to have been a spot there. Something occupying that spot. Anyone have any guesses? So the glass that was on the ground, like we see that it's he said it's a particular type of glass that's coated. Um I noticed that it wasn't regular glass as soon as I looked at it, but I didn't think it was part of the mystery. So instead of it being glass, just glass, it's a mirror. Um Now the conclusion for this, I don't know if that's supposed to be something that legit. It seems a bit far fetched, but I guess this is a game, trying to have fun. So rather than so I'll go ahead and let it play out, and then sort of let you see if you think it's far fetched. But again, like the last game, I don't know. Like I can't think of anybody the last round where the guy was supposed to have died from smoke inhalation from laying underneath a raincoat. Like I don't think anybody would do something like that. Um but I mean I guess I could see like headline guy dies in room smoking underneath a rain jacket and tries to disassemble the smoke alarm. Um, But the fact that the artwork is so fun, um, I'll have to review again what age range this is supposed to be for because it kind of feels like sort of Scooby Doo esque in that um, certain things sort of seem far fetched, but it's supposed to be fun in a kid's show. So, submit solution no. Again, never forget you're supposed to uh, do the secondary question, which is the bonus question. Um, in this case, how did they know each other? And so, if we assume that Mr. Disco is the person who killed him, um, and he's somehow using a magnifying glass to reflect off the mirror and burn him alive, um, he would at least have to have access to the side window, so he has to be his neighbor. So, like I said, I thought initially when I got this game, I thought it was going to be more of a game where you have more options and maybe you were going to be drawing more conclusions on your own. Like for that one, like they completely did that. Like the bonus questions are completely done by the characters themselves. You're not involved in solving the bonus questions. They sort of give you the answers. So, but I could see a younger version of myself playing this game and thinking it would probably be pretty cool. I could also see it as an app. Okay, thank you for viewing the stream. Hope you have a good dinner. So, even though my detective is supposed to be the guy who talks with his fist or thinks with his fist, he was able to solve that particular crime on his own. The first one he didn't solve by himself. It was definitely Detective Mouse um who did most of the legwork in that one. So, according to my previous playthrough, um I'm going to be switching it up this time and I'm going to be working with a different detective. Yeah, the Detective Hackett is sort of the cliche, so I'll give him that. So this is sort of a preview of meeting the game masters. One guy seems to be like a sort of chill guy, and the other one sort of has like a menacing look about him. I don't know what it's going to lead to later. Again, I haven't completed the game. I just was very, very smart and did not save um, when I was playing last time. Also, I'm using a different computer from last time, so I didn't have even if that was the case, I didn't have the same save file to work from off of this computer, so it just seemed like a good thing to just sort of start from the beginning. And we have more of these game masters talking about the people that make it, people that are making it to the fourth floor. So Red July is supposed to be one of the best. If you remember from before, they were talking about the top three detectives in the competition. Um, Red July, they just said that she's like the first, uh, the top detective of the competition. Um, then, if you paid attention to Detective George, I believe his name was, he mentioned that there was a guy who had a whole bunch of numbers in his name, and then that there was another person who looked like Red July. And so those are supposed to be the top three. And I believed when first playing through it that if I did enough of the correct answers in the first round when I was playing as Detective Hackett, that I would have been able to um, make it to the final round, to make that character skip to the top three, because they said if you solved it fast enough, you were going to be able to get to the top three automatically. But it doesn't appear to be the case. I think this game is one of those games where it's sort of linear. So you're just going to have to buckle down and go through the whole story. But that's cool. So the competition is heating up. We have Detective Nell and this strange guy. And you might remember earlier I said there was like a silhouette, this silhouette of the top three people. This guy, this guy's hairstyle matches that silhouette, and he is Detective 772. I know, right? I mean, it's crazy looking hair, and then like Detective Hackett referred to himself as a very handsome man in the beginning, which is like the brutish guy who's sort of like the stereotypical detective. And I definitely didn't think of that character as handsome. So I think they were having a lot of fun with the art. Because the artwork in this game is kind of different. But yeah, he has some crazy hair and he's kind of a character too. But I ended up liking him from what I've seen. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely having some fun when he's doing stuff like that. And yeah, I think once you get to a certain point, you'll see why um, I wonder what age this game is for. Because I think the artwork um, and some of the stuff that they do has more of an appeal to a younger audience. Now, the title itself, Methods, the Detective Competition, um, well, Detective Competition seems a little bit weird, but Methods, I don't know if they're trying to establish a brand or anything, but I don't know if that would be so appealing to a younger audience. So yeah, his thing is doing headstands and looking at the crime scene in upside down, and he feels that it helps him solve the crimes. And we will see how this sort of plays out. So we have Mr. Stash and Mrs. Fired. And for some reason, it's Mrs. Fired this time versus Miss. But businessman Mr. Stash was found dead in his office at 3 p.m., an hour after firing the reportedly furious Mrs. Fired. Very original names. The door was locked and could not be opened from the outside when the crime was discovered. You do not have access to the autopsy report, as usual. Yeah, visual novelty. Yeah, I agree. Um, what is the invisible weapon? I mean, not all visual novels are for um, adults. Most of the ones well, I've played have been, when I was after 18. So, but anyway, what is the invisible weapon? Okay, cool. So apparently, Detective 772 has been getting along pretty well with the Game Master. And even though we know there's more than one Game Master, um, I don't think they know that yet. I don't know if he's made a conclusion yet. Mrs. Fired? Yeah. Yeah, that's also what makes me think it's for a younger audience. I mean, Mrs. Fired. So I think this is a game for, I guess, maybe adults who um, who aren't looking to take themselves too seriously and have a bit of fun, some quirky fun. Because this game is kind of silly. I mean, Mrs. Fired getting fired. Like the detective competition, the title made me think it was more of a serious game, but it's not. And Mr. Annie being burned with a magnifying glass, now that I think about it. Yeah, like somehow he's supposed to do, like, you could start a fire with a magnifying glass, yes. But there's a whole bunch of different stuff that has to happen. Yeah, Mr. Ant. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Ant. He's an ant. You're right. That didn't occur to me either. I mean, I guess I don't think kids do that stuff nowadays. But I think they used actually, now that I think about it, who why was that a thing? Why were there little kids playing with magnifying glasses and it was okay for them to play with magnifying glasses and burn ants? Like that seems so um burning ants with magnifying glasses? It's very lighthearted. Mm. Unless you just mean like the game's lighthearted. Yeah, the game is lighthearted. But yeah, I never like first of all, I didn't have a magnifying glass outside of school, but cuz it was just I think my mom I don't think my mom would like that's just one more thing to break. Yeah, the game. Yeah. I figured. Yeah, burning ants with magnifying glass. You know, I was having a conversation with someone and I was telling them about we were talking about Disney movies and they were talking about Toy Story and I was telling them I never really got into Toy Story and they were like, "How could you not get into Toy Story?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've only seen the first one and the first one was scary to me." And they're like, why was the first one scary to you? And I was like, don't you remember the kid Sid? I was like, Sid was scary, and that was one of the things that he was doing. He was burning ants with magnifying. Well, he was burning ants and toys with magnifying glasses, and I was just like, how is that not scary? Like some psycho kid, like burning toys and burning, like that was pretty scary when I was I was a kid. And they were like, yeah, now that you think about it. I was like, I guess they were like, yeah, I didn't really take it too seriously when I was watching it. I was like, yeah, there was a kid in my class who reminded me of Sid. So, you know, when they were showing Sid doing all that stuff, I was kind of scared. Yeah. It was like, so I didn't watch, like, I knew the other Toy Stories weren't like that, but Toy Story 1 was scary to me. I mean, if they have like a Toy Story, 5 or something like that, they could make it for adults and just like, Sid's all grown up now. And guess how he's grown up? Surprise, surprise. Yeah. If there's like if they ever did, you know, everybody's all grown up and Sid's like I'm sure if they did that, of course it's Disney, so of course they wouldn't so here is our quirky detective pausing the psycho Sid conversation, but our detective Nell believes that she has just solved the mystery. Um believes that she has just solved the mystery because she smelt the coffee, and she believes she um, smelt poison in the coffee. So the reason the guy is dead is because um, he drank the coffee and it had poison in it. But still, that doesn't account for Sid's position. Not Sid. The um where the boss is sitting. Like there's a blood stain on the carpet, but this guy is supposed to have died in his seat. Like you could cough up poison and everything, but he's pretty far away from the seating. So, um, he's saying that the mystery isn't over. Um, and we're supposed to choose why it's not over. Um, it hasn't. I don't think it has anything to do with how tall he is or how big the desk is. So I'm gonna go with wooden thud. I'm actually thinking this is not. Um, it's a weird. It's a weird option to pick, but um, there is the. It reveals something. He jumped on the desk, and they were able to see another body. So obviously we see a gun, but I'm going to do this one. And they haven't made the conclusion yet as to whether she is another victim or another or the murderer or what have you. They're not sure yet. So there's blood on her, and there's the gun. And so she's confused, of course, as to what happened because a whole nother body has been revealed. But one of the things that they were saying is they note that she, like, the colors that they have, like, he's supposed to be blue, she's white, the other ones were white as well. So the color is supposed to indicate, is also supposed to help indicate how they died. So that person underneath the desk is Mrs. Fired. So after Mrs. Fired was fired, she poisoned the coffee, shot Mr. Stash, or switched the nameplates. Even though there's a gun down there, we've already established before that Mr. Stash. Dun dun dun. Mr. Stash, who is blue, died to poison. So it makes no sense that he actually died to a shot because it's not that he has blood on him from being shot. The blood came from his mouth. So it's still him getting poisoned. So after he realizes his coffee's been poisoned, um, why would she drink from this? There's only one cup of coffee, so she couldn't have been poisoned. And there's a gun there, and it looks like she had like a gunshot wound on her. So he shoots her. Now how Mrs. Fired ended up underneath the desk, I don't know. But rather than the invisible weapon being the poison, the invisible weapon was the gun because it was hidden with the second body. I know, right? You gotta give him credit for showmanship. So she's not really into the silly gimmicks. Detective Nell. I feel like Detective Nell I could relate to a little bit more. Um, I think I would have liked to start off playing as her versus now I'm forgetting his name. The other detective. But it's still cool. I think the other guy works as far as like figuring out the mechanics and she's supposed to be a regular detective, so that's cool. Yeah, Hackett. Oh, and that's the thing. So Hackett, the hack, the hack detective. I don't know what 772 is supposed to be or Detective Nell. Hmm. Hackett is supposed to be a hack. Hmm. I have to think about some of this stuff a little bit more because I didn't even catch on to the whole the ant, like Mr. Stash. Obviously, I should have figured his name being Mr. Stash. He stashed the body and gun somewhere. There's more to the mystery than before. So there is something for adults in here. If you think about it a little bit more. I don't know, 772. Do you know what figuring out who the funny links? Yeah. I don't know. It makes me want to Google if the numbers 772 mean anything. Or like if you put them up. Wait! Does 772 mean something upside down on a calculator? In the Urban Dictionary, it's the area code for Martin and St. Lucie County in South Florida, but I don't think it means I don't know. In symbolism, it says 772 is supposed to be the number for an angel, but I don't. Oh. It's the angel number? But I don't know if that's supposed to necessarily be the look of an angel. Oh no, he's 773. Why did I say 772? Well, that helps. It's still an angel number, but it's a number of mutual respect. I don't know. Does 773 mean something upside down on a calculator? LLE? ELL? If there is an H somewhere, you'd be Detective Hell. Oh, she's Nell, though. Nell and Detective Hell? Nell? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there will be another hint down the line. Detective Honor and Detective Red July. Red July makes me think of like Red Summer, like she's a killer or something. She's gonna turn on us any minute. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're not supposed to make the conclusion until the end, and it's supposed to be like, oh, Nell and Elle, they're secretly brother and sister. Oh, maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Maybe that's an homage. So, Elle, do you remember? Have you ever read what's it called? What's his name? Detective L. His name is L in the series. It's L versus Light Yagami. What's his name? Oh, Death Note. In his eccentric behavior, that might be what it is, what it's an homage to. Maybe. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much and trying to make connections that aren't there. But yeah, Death Note. Yeah. So I think he's supposed to be the Elish character. Maybe that's it. Or, maybe that happened inadvertently. But he totally is supposed to give the L. Yeah, the crazy hair too. So, I'm talking too much and got distracted. So, about your method, Detective Honor, other tips. So basically, they were basically telling Nell to keep her wits about her, because to trust her instincts as a detective. And I'm just gonna go with the option I said the other time because it's not like this particular instance has any specific issues. But I am going to give say a 10-minute warning. I do have something I'm supposed to do a little later today, so I'm going to go ahead after maybe finishing this chapter. I might be able to finish this chapter in about 10 minutes. Um, going to stop the stream from there and take a little break and then continue it later and save this time. That's the big thing, saving. In fact, I haven't saved for. Oh, they're already moving. Or maybe the beginning of chapter 8 is a good place to stop. Um, so once I come to a save point, I am going to go ahead and stop here. From my original stream with this game, I didn't actually make it too much further from here. So let me go ahead and read the case file. I'll go ahead and start the next stream by reading the case file again. But since I have to um, go through this part anyway before I save, the next case for the next stream is the singular key. Mr. Paranoido, a small-time crook wanted by police, was found dead in a walk-in closet at 10:20 a.m. Mr. Gunhappy, a police officer, was the only one on the scene. The closet was locked, and the only key was found inside with Mr. Paranoido. You do not have access to the autopsy report, as usual. And why was Mr. Paranoido hiding in the closet? So, I don't know what these buttons are for. Uh-oh. Why am I not? Okay. I didn't want to click those other buttons because I didn't want to lose my progress on accident. Actually, instead of overwriting my save, I'm going to go ahead and save it right there and click it again because I really don't want to lose it. And I am going to say thank you. I might even keep this up on the screen. But I'm going to say thank you to everybody who visited my stream. I'm really, really grateful. Just trying to get those numbers up so I can get to affiliate. I will probably be back later, a little while later. I have to get ready for an appointment, and then I'm not sure how much time that'll take. But once I sort of get my bearings, I'm going to put it on my scheduler. So if you have liked what you've seen and you've been viewing and want to come back and see what the ending is going to be, this game doesn't seem like it's too long, so maybe I will be able to get to the end of it and maybe find out what exactly Detective 773's name means. If you do want to find that out with me, just join me a little while later. And I'll go ahead and look at my schedule and see what I know is going to work, and I will put it on the scheduler. So just check back in. Yeah, thank you, Miyuki. It's been fun. It's definitely fun talking through this with somebody versus just looking at it, because there's definitely some stuff that completely went over my head alone. So, thank you, and have a nice evening, I believe, for you, Miyuki. And for everyone else watching the stream, enjoy your day. Thank you.